requires a kind of confidence the world doesn't understand. The kind that doesn't need noise, attention, or validation. The Sigma male's confidence is quiet, measured, and dangerous because it's built on control, not ego. He doesn't need to prove he's powerful. He knows it, and that certainty unsettles everyone who's still trying to be seen. This isn't arrogance, it's awareness. The Sigma male doesn't seek dominance through words or image, he builds it through mastery, patience, and discipline. While others compete for status, he builds internal stability so solid that chaos can't touch him. His power isn't loud, it's psychological, the kind that can shift a room without saying a word. Because when a man learns to control his emotions, his impulses, and his reactions, he becomes unstoppable. That's the dark side of Sigma confidence. It's not about showing power, it's about being power. Subscribe for more deep dives into Sigma psychology, power, and mindset. And tell me in the comments, do you think control is the ultimate form of strength, or does true power come from emotion? They build confidence through isolation, not attention. For the Sigma male, confidence isn't something built in front of a crowd. It's forged in silence when no one's watching. While others chase validation to feel valuable, he chooses solitude to discover what he's truly capable of. In isolation, there's no applause, no competition, no comparison, just discipline, focus, and truth. Every weakness is exposed, every insecurity faced head-on, and every ounce of strength earned through effort, not recognition. He learns to motivate himself without an audience. His self-worth stops depending on praise or acceptance because he's conditioned himself to survive without them. The quiet becomes his training ground, sharpening his mind, strengthening his discipline, and teaching him to rely only on what he can control, his mindset and his consistency. This is where his confidence becomes different. Not loud, not performative, but anchored. When the world gets noisy, he doesn't need to prove anything because isolation already tested him harder than anyone else could. He's not detached out of arrogance. He's detached out of clarity. Solitude taught him who he is when no one is watching. And once a man knows that, no amount of noise can shake him again. They control emotion instead of suppressing it. A Sigma male doesn't deny his emotions, he masters them. He knows that suppression only creates inner chaos, so instead of pretending not to feel, he learns how to use emotion as data. Anger becomes awareness, sadness becomes reflection, frustration becomes fuel. Where others drown in emotion or deny it completely, the Sigma observes his feelings with brutal honesty, then decides how and when to act. But control doesn't make him cold, it makes him precise. He's experienced the danger of reacting on impulse, how one emotional decision can destroy weeks of progress or trust. That's why he trains himself to pause, breathe, and analyze before responding. He studies his triggers like a scientist, dissecting them until they lose their power. When life throws chaos his way, he doesn't explode or retreat. He simply adjusts, turning every emotional wave into direction instead of destruction. The difference between the Sigma and the average man is awareness. While most people try to escape discomfort, the Sigma sits with it. He knows pain carries instruction. He understands that self-control isn't about being numb. It's about knowing your emotions so deeply that they can no longer control you. Every moment of calm he shows on the surface is backed by hours of inner work, discipline, and silence. This is why people mistake his composure for coldness. What they don't see is the storm he's already conquered internally. When others lose focus because of anger, pride, or insecurity, he's already converted those emotions into clarity and strength. His calm isn't weakness, it's preparation. Because the man who can feel deeply and still choose logic over reaction isn't emotionless. He's evolved. They intimidate without intending to. A Sigma male doesn't need to raise his voice, assert dominance, or demand attention. His very presence shifts the energy in the room. It's not arrogance. It's the quiet authority that comes from someone completely at ease with himself. People feel it. The steadiness in his tone, the stillness in his eyes, the absence of the need to prove anything. That calm confidence unsettles those who rely on noise to feel powerful. He's not trying to intimidate. He simply doesn't participate in social games. When everyone else seeks approval, he stands grounded, unbothered, and unreadable. That emotional neutrality becomes magnetic and unnerving. People can't manipulate someone they can't predict. His silence feels like judgment. His composure feels like power, and his focus exposes how scattered everyone else is. What makes him truly intimidating is that he doesn't need anyone. He's already accepted solitude, mastered his emotions, and learned to rely on no external validation. That kind of independence can make others defensive because it reflects their own lack of control. They can't use guilt, pressure, or ego to move him. A Sigma's confidence isn't loud or flashy. It's precise, contained, and deeply earned. Every scar turned into wisdom, every mistake refined into self-control. So when he walks into a room, he doesn't dominate it, he stabilizes it. And that calm dominance, the kind that comes from complete inner control, is exactly what makes people feel like they're standing in front of something or someone they can't manipulate, imitate, or truly understand. They use restraint as a form of power. A Sigma male doesn't need to dominate every situation. He dominates himself. His restraint isn't weakness, it's proof of mastery. While others feel the need to react instantly, argue endlessly, or prove their worth through noise, he stays calm and chooses when and if to respond. Every pause is intentional. Every silence is control. He knows that real power isn't in showing strength, it's in having it and choosing not to use it. He's learned that people expose themselves when he doesn't rush to defend or attack. His restraint forces truth to surface on its own. When others speak impulsively, he listens. When they lash out emotionally, he observes. The more chaotic the environment, the more composed he becomes. That composure makes him unpredictable. Because you can't manipulate someone who doesn't react the way you expect. This discipline extends beyond conflict. He uses restraint in words, time, and energy. He doesn't over-explain, doesn't overshare, and doesn't waste effort on things that don't move him forward. His minimalism is strategic, cutting away distractions until only what matters remains. To the untrained eye, his calm looks passive, but in reality it's tactical. He's letting people show who they are while he decides how to move. The Sigma male's restraint is his filter. It protects his focus, preserves his energy, and prevents others from controlling his state of mind. Because at the end of the day, anyone can act strong in chaos, but only a man with true control can remain still, silent, and unshaken when everything around him demands a reaction. That's what makes his restraint terrifying and powerful. They stay 3 steps ahead by observing, not reacting. A Sigma male doesn't compete through noise. He wins through awareness. While most people rush to react, defend, or prove a point, he studies. He listens to tone, watches body language, and notices patterns others miss. Every word, every pause, every shift in energy tells him something. He learns people's habits, their motives, and their emotional weak points, not to manipulate them, but to understand how the game is being played, before he even joins it. That's why he never gets caught off guard. When someone tries to provoke him, he's already analyzed their intention. When someone tries to deceive him, He's already seen the inconsistency between their words and actions. His power lies in patience. He lets people reveal themselves. Because when you stop reacting, you start reading. And the Sigma reads everything, from the smallest hesitation to the loudest performance. He doesn't waste time correcting lies or chasing explanations. He knows that silence forces people to expose their truth faster than confrontation ever could. While they talk themselves into corners, he's already planning his next move. His calm becomes unsettling because it's not emptiness, it's strategy. This level of observation is why Sigma males seem to predict outcomes. They've spent years learning to separate emotion from logic, intuition from paranoia. They know how to pause, process, and act only when the time is right. That discipline, the ability to wait while others panic, gives them control in every situation. The Sigma doesn't react because he doesn't need to. His awareness is his armor. By the time others realize what's happening, he's already adjusted, already moved on, already won. They detach from ego but command respect instinctively. A Sigma male doesn't crave validation, and that's exactly why people give it to him. While most chase attention, status, or praise, he moves differently. His actions speak so quietly and consistently that respect becomes an automatic response, not a demand. He doesn't need to prove dominance or superiority. He simply embodies self-control, and that calm confidence commands attention without trying. His lack of ego isn't weakness, it's awareness. He knows that ego is reactive, fragile, and hungry for approval, so instead of being driven by it, he steps outside it. That's why insults don't move him, praise doesn't inflate him, and rejection doesn't shake him. He's grounded in purpose, not perception. People sense this, that rare combination of strength and humility that can't be faked. When others try to provoke him, his composure exposes their insecurity. When someone challenges his authority, he doesn't argue, he simply keeps producing results. His restraint becomes the proof of power, and it unnerves those who rely on emotional control or social games to feel significant. Because how do you manipulate a man who doesn't need to be liked, admired, or understood? You can't. That's why Sigma males command respect effortlessly. It's not their words, it's their presence. It's the way they move with quiet purpose, how they don't explain, and how they never compromise their peace for validation. People recognize that kind of grounded confidence immediately. True respect, he knows, isn't earned by shouting the loudest. It's earned by mastering yourself so completely that the world has no choice but to take notice. They turn pain into precision, not bitterness. For the Sigma male, pain isn't an ending, it's a sharpening. While others drown in anger or resentment, he channels every wound into awareness. He studies his pain, dissects it, and learns from it until it becomes part of his intuition. What once broke him now builds his discipline. What once hurt him now guides his focus. The Sigma doesn't waste suffering, he refines it into strength. He's learned that bitterness is emotional debt. It keeps you tied to what hurt you. Precision, on the other hand, is evolution. When life hits him hard, he doesn't ask, "Why me?" He asks, "What is this teaching me?" Every betrayal sharpens his boundaries. Every disappointment strengthens his patience. Every failure redefines his strategy. That's why he grows faster than most, because he's willing to face the darkness without letting it consume him. People often mistake his calm for coldness, not realizing it's the result of pain processed, not avoided. He's not numb, he's focused. His experiences have stripped away illusion. The need to explain, to please, to seek external comfort. Now he relies on clarity. He knows where to invest, who to trust, and when to walk away. Not because he's detached, but because he's precise. The Sigma male turns emotional chaos into mental clarity. He knows that holding grudges only wastes time and weakens focus. So, he lets go, not for others, but for his own growth. His revenge isn't in retaliation, it's in transformation. Pain made him smarter. Discipline made him dangerous. And now every move he makes is deliberate, quiet, exact, and unstoppable. Their confidence feels cold because it's calculated. Sigma confidence doesn't shout, it observes. It's not built on compliments, validation, or approval. It's built on quiet calculation. A Sigma male's confidence feels cold to others because it isn't emotional. It's strategic. Every move, every word, every silence has a purpose. He doesn't react out of pride or fear. He responds out of clarity. That's why his presence can feel intimidating even when he says nothing. He's not cold because he lacks emotion. He's cold because he's mastered control. His confidence comes from understanding his strengths, his limits, and his environment better than anyone else in the room. He doesn't fake certainty. He studies, adapts, and prepares until doubt no longer matters. This gives him an edge that feels unshakable, almost detached, to those who operate from impulse. People who rely on emotional leverage can't manipulate him, and those who seek validation can't compete with him. He's not trying to win anyone's approval. He's building outcomes that make approval irrelevant. His confidence is quiet because it doesn't need witnesses. To the outside world, it might look like arrogance or emotional distance, but to the Sigma, it's simply efficiency. He knows emotions are valuable when guided, destructive when uncontrolled. So he stays centered, composed, and deliberate, even when the world around him is chaotic. His calm is his weapon, his silence is his armor, and his confidence, that cold, calculated self-assurance, is what separates him from everyone still trying to prove their worth. In the end, Sigma confidence isn't loud, it's lethal in its calm. It's the kind of power that doesn't chase validation, doesn't need attention, and never bends to approval. It's a confidence built in silence, sharpened through pain, and perfected through self-mastery. That's why it feels cold, because it's not emotional, it's earned. When a Sigma walks into a room, he doesn't need to prove who he is. His energy already says it. People feel his presence before he even speaks, not because he's trying to dominate, but because he's fully in control of himself. That's real power, and it doesn't fade. If you're the type who's learning to move with quiet precision instead of noise, this message was made for you. Subscribe for more Sigma-level psychology and deep insights on power, mindset, and control. And tell me in the comments, do you think confidence should be calm or loud?